strong.
Hello everyone, Ellison here, back for another video, and today's video I'm going to be doing another deck profile. This is going to be a deck I like to call the Rat Empire. So, with that, obviously, it's all about the rats. Now, this is, I've probably said this a lot of times, but this is my second ever commander deck. Cats being my first, rats being my second, and it's just a pure black deck, so I thought it would be easier to do. So, obviously we have Nonga. Basically, it's kind of like the main rat commander. Like, it gives all rats fear. He can then tap himself, sack a rat to put X 1/1 black rats into the battlefield, or X is the number of rats you control. So he always counts himself. The whole point of the Rat Empire is to spare a whole bunch load of rat tokens and to play a whole bunch of rats. And because I love this guy so much, I even got the showcase, the secret lair art, because he provides for his family, as you can see here. So, let's just pop him down here. So, you know what So, in this deck, I'm running 10? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, 10 copies of Rat Colony. So yeah, all these are just rats because I can have as many cards named this card in my deck. As it says right there. A deck can have any number of cards named Rat Colony. So, it gets a +1/+0 for each of the rats I control, so generally it will start, its power will start to get big. It won't be able to ever take a hit, but it will be a big guy that can swing over another guy. And then we got Tri-Hybrid Rat, which is just a 1/1 Death Touch. Effectively, that's all I needed for, just to have a Death Touch on board. Pack Rat. Pack Rat's power and toughness are equal to the number of rats I control, including himself. Pay 2 colors, a black, and discard a card to create a copy of Pack Rat. So yeah, which then means you can then use the copy's effect, pay 2 discard card, blah blah blah. It just makes you a whole bunch more tokens. Swarm of Rats. Its power is equal to the number of rats I control. Sorry about that. So yeah, it's similar to Rat Colony. It's effectively the same ability. Crypt Rats. I didn't run this card for the longest time, but I kind of understood why people use it now. It could just be a board wipe. It could be a board wipe, you just pay a whole bunch load of mana. And it could potentially kill someone in the game. It could effectively get rid of an opponent. So I think it's pretty good. Because pay X, Crypt Rat deals X damage to each creature and each player. Spend only black mana on it. Which every single mana in my deck is black. Pestilence Rats. Pestilence Rats' power is equal to the number of rats on the battlefield, no matter who controls them. Kind of straightforward and simple. Yazumi Blade Blesser. He has Death Touch as long as there's an artifact on board, and Menace as long as there's an enchantment on board. So he's very useful since in this deck, like I said in my cats, I have a habit of running a bunch of artifacts. Wave of Rats. Now, Wave of Rats came out in Streets, New Companion. It's a 4-drop 4/2 with Trample, and whenever it dies, it deals Whenever it dies, if it deals combat damage to a player, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control. It's also got Blitz, so you pay 4 in a black, it comes in, it has haste, and it dies during the end, during the end phase. So if it does, also it will hopefully it deals damage because of the old trample. And then when it dies, I draw a card, and I get to return it to the battlefield. It's a really cool rat. I'm so happy if we got more rats in the game. Also, what I really like about this card art is the rat here stole a ring. It's got a ring it's wearing as a necklace. Okay. And then we have Moon Sage Scorn, one of the ninjas from Kamigawa. So, obviously it has ninjutsu for 4 mana. When it deals damage to a player, exile the top card of each player's library. Till the end turn, you may cast one of those cards. If you cast a card this way, you pay equal to its mana value when paying its mana cost. So effectively, if I drew into a free mana guy and I wanted to play it, or a free mana spell, I would just pay 3 life instead and just cast it. The card is nuts. The fact it just exiles the real card too is pretty strong. And then we have Ink Eyes, which is my first ever ninja actually. Whenever Ink Eyes deals combat damage to a player, you may put target creature from that player's graveyard into the battlefield under your control. So effectively, there's a big boy in someone's bin, and I want to attack, smack. As long as it deals damage to them, I gain that guy from their bin onto my battlefield. It also has a colorless black. Oh, there's a board wipe. It's still standing up. I'm gonna pay a black and a colorless to tap it and regenerate it. And Ninjutsu is 1 less to cast while just paying its regular cost. Its regular cost is 6. To cast it for its Ninjutsu is only 5, so I kind of wait to just use it on a token. And then we have Nezumi Prowler. So it's a 1 colorless, 1 black to drop. Its Ninjutsu is the same as its mana cost to cast. When it enters the battlefield, target creature you control gains Death Touch and lifelink to the end turn. Usually I've just used it on itself, to be honest. I would just use it on itself so I gain an extra +3 life. Camera. Oi. You were working earlier. Why do I have such an issue with my cameras most of the time? Okay, maybe I'll just use another card. So, here we have Ambusher. Okay, I don't know what my camera's doing right now, it's kind of being a pain. Oi! Focus! Is it because it's too far? No. There's always something, isn't it? There's always something. Can't get a decent video in without something messing up, can't I? So, the Nezumi Ambusher, pretty straightforward. Ninjutsu, 1 colorless, 1 black. It's a 3/2 of lifelink. Effectively, that's why it's in here. Just a basic 3/2 of lifelink. So that's all of the cat creatures. That's all of the rat creatures. Now we'll go on to the non-cat creatures. So we have Piper of the Swarm. This guy is really good and really fun to play because he gives all rats menace, which means they have to block with 2 creatures. You can pay a colorless and a black, tap himself, create a 1/1 black rat token. You can then pay 2 colors, 2 black, sack 3 rats to take control of target creature on the battlefield. So I've done it a couple of times on Arena, definitely on Arena, because it's hard to do it in Commander because everyone just wants to join. This guy's an issue, we're going to kill it. So yeah, my Paw Piper. And then we have my Iana, First of Lockwitch. So she is kind of important in the deck because whenever she or another creature enters the battlefield, my opponents lose a life and I gain 1 life. So she comes in with a lot of combos in the deck, especially when I'm spitting out a whole bunch of tokens from my commander especially. Her main effect is tap, sack another black creature, draw a card, so she can be my draw power. I just sack my black rat tokens. Species Specialist was a card I had on my list for the longest time, mainly because when it enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. I would choose rats. Whenever a creature of the chosen type dies, I may draw a card. Effectively, it's just my rat token died. Draw. I find it really handy when I'm in a tight spot and I don't have many cards in hand. I will just sacrifice my rats. It also works if I sack my rats for my commander's effect. And then we have the Chittering Witch. When Chittering Witch enters the battlefield, it creates a number of 1/1 black rats equal to the number of opponents I have. And I can pay 1 and a black to sacrifice a creature, target creature get -2/-2 to the end turn. Again, it's more rat token spam. Then we have Ogre Slumlord. Now, Ogre Slumlord, whenever a non-token creature dies, I create a 1/1 black rat. And rats I control have Death Touch, so yeah. Pretty good actually, being able to just give all my rats Death Touch. And then my other ogre, which is Ratcatcher, he himself has fear. He can, at the beginning of my upkeep, I can search my library for a rat card, so it'll be at this point any of my like rat creatures. Search for a rat card, add to my hand. So, and I think he's really cool. I don't know why my camera's not focusing, that's kind of annoying. And then we have Erebos, God of the Dead, which it has in strong rule because it's God, and as long as my devotion to black is less than 5, he isn't a creature. So if I got 5 devotion, he's a creature now. He's one of the cheaper ones to play because his devotion is only like 5 or less. It has to be like 5 or more. Your opponents can't gain life, which is kind of good, really. And you pay 1 and a black, pay 2 life to draw a card. So if you do have an abundant amount of life and you don't care about losing it, you could just spam all your mana into this guy, lose, I don't know, so much, I don't know, 10 life, draw 5 cards. Seems good to me. And then we have our Advanced Automatum. So you choose a creature type. I'll choose rats. Whenever it's chosen, it becomes a rat, and other creatures of chosen type get a +1/+1. So it's a way of beefing my rats. I also run Metallic Mimic, which kind of does a similar thing, but creatures enter the board with a +1/+1 instead. So that's it for my creatures. Now for the artifacts. Actually, why you move? So artifacts, obviously, Soul-Ring. Jet Medallion. My black spells cost 1 less. 1000-Year Elixir. This card goes extremely well with my commander because I may activate abilities of creatures I control as though they had haste. And then it's a 1 mana tap to untap target creature, so if I do tap him to use his ability, I can then pay 1, untap him, well, pay 1, tap this to untap him, to then tap him to use his ability again. It's very, very important that I see this, or see Mage White Stone, because it does a similar thing. So you pay 1, tap it to untap target creature has an activate ability with the tap in its cost. Oh, you guys can see because of the glare. Pretty simple. I either see this or I see this. And then we have Bonetour's Monument, which black spells cost 1 less, and whenever a black creature, whenever I cast a creature spell, each opponent loses a life and I gain life. Herald's Horn, kind of don't really have to explain much. I'll call rats. Rats cost 1 colorless less. At the beginning of my upkeep, look at the top card of my library. If it's a rat, adds to hand. If not, place it back on the top. And then we have Mask Wood Nexus, which effectively, if I'm going to call rat, every single spell in my deck and hand, I believe it's hand deck, creatures you control are every type. The same is true to creature spells you control and creature spells you own that aren't on the battlefield. So yeah, so every creature in my deck is anything. Mostly I just care about the rats, honestly, that's all I ever care for, just rats. So every creature in your hand, deck, battlefield, they're all every type. And then we have Soul Foundry. Soul Foundry is just, I'm just going to discard, I don't know, let's say my Rakai. This card can produce a rat by paying its mana cost and tapping it. That's effectively what it's in there for. A Link's Lotus basically adds a devotion to black for each creature, kind of. I'll tap it to add that much, so if I have like 4 of these, that's 4 black mana that I can tap for. The card is really strong. It comes in tapped. Oh, why did my entire screen just go black? Oh, because I left in idle mode too long. Okay, I get you. Ah, now my camera's behaving. Of course. Of course you're behaving now. Just wait a couple minutes for it to just fix itself. Of course. So yeah, Link's Lotus, very, very strong and really good for its price. It's like £5, £5 to £4. It's really good and really cheap. Would recommend anyone to grab one, especially if you're running mono decks. Myself, I have a mono black and a mono red. I don't really use the mono red very much, but it's there. To be fair, it's kind of like the newest deck I've got. Okay, next artifact is Vanquisher's Banner. Choose a creature type, rats. Rats you control get +1/+1, and whenever you cast a card of chosen type, draw a card. This artifact is one that I actually think is really, really fun and good to play. Cryptic Gateway. You tap 2 untapped creatures you control. You may put a creature card from your... You can put a creature card that from your hand into play that shares a creature type of each creature tapped this way. So tap 2 rats or 2 rat tokens, play a rat from my hand. So that could be any rat, especially if I have Maskwood Nexus. Any creature can be a rat, so even these guys could be. This could effectively be a rat. Could be a rat guard. And then the last artifact is Whip of Erebos. Legendary Enchantment artifact. Oi. Camera. Did Erebos break my camera? Oi. Oi, you god. Okay. Sure, camera. May I need to get a new camera? May I actually just need to go into settings? I should be able to go into settings from here, actually. Just a little tweaking here and there. Oh, that's... There we go. Better. That is actually a lot better. Okay. So, that is it for the artifacts. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 artifacts. And now for the Lonely Planeswalker being Liliana. So, +1, search my library for Swamp, reveal, put into my hand. Neg 3, target creature gets +X/+X or -X, where X is the number of swamps I control, and 6 is 1 swamp can tap for 4 swamps. I've only ever been able to get that effect once, and then every time I play it, just so I can try and stay in the game with mana, because sometimes I can get mana cooked and it's kind of sad, there's no point in playing. So I'll try to use this to only gain mana. And now for the spells. So for instances, I want a copy of You're Already Dead, because I think it's funny. So it destroys a creature that was dealt damage this turn, and you draw a card. All that for 1 black. That's pretty good. Infernal Grasp. So destroy target creature, you lose 2 life. Defile. Target creature gets -1/-1 until your turn for each swamp you control. So I got 3 swamps, that's -3/-3. Rise of the Draugr. So you choose one, return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand, or return 2 target creatures from 2 creature cards that share a creature type from your graveyard to your hand. So it's either 1 rat or 2 rats. Most likely I will do the 2 rats. Village Rites. So answers will cost sack creature, draw 2 cards. So sack a token, draw 2. The old Tragic Slip with Morbid. So creature gets -1/-1 to the end turn. Morbid, if a creature gets -1/-1, -13/-13 instead if a creature died this turn. So a really cheeky card to play. I love this card so much. I ran 4 of it in my standard once upon a time. Then we have Altar's Reap. So additional costs, sack creature, draw 2. It's just more draw power. Silent Blood, target player draws 2 cards and loses 2 life. Again, more draw power. And I actually won a game using this. I actually reduced a player's life points to 0 with this card. Poor Savage, I actually ended him using this. So he drew his 2 cards and he lost the game because he only had 2 life. That made me so happy. Okay, so then the Pact of the Serpent. So choose a creature type. Target player draws X cards and loses X life, where X is the number of creature cards they control. Effectively, I can use this on myself to draw a whole bunch of cards, or I can target my opponent if they flood their board with, I don't know, so many tokens. I don't know, 40 tokens. I'll just call that type of token and they'll draw 40 cards, but they'll also lose 40 life. I yet to do that on opponents, so far I've only done it on myself because I need a draw power. But yeah, it is a really good card. And then we have Demonic Tutor, search your library for a card, add to your hand. Grim Tutor, search your library for a card, add to your hand, you lose 3 life. Darbog Tutor, search your deck for a card, add to your hand. Just a generic. Yeah, just a generic like search cards really. And then we got Gruesome Fate, so each opponent loses 1 life for each creature I control. If I just spam the board of rats, they are taking a lot of damage. This card, it's kind of funny. It works on a couple cards in here. So we have Plague of the Vermin. Starting with me, each player may pay an amount of life. Repeat this process until no one pays life. Each player puts a 1/1 black rat creature token into play for each 1 life he or she has paid this way. So, this card works extremely well with... where is she? There we go. The deck runs extremely well with her, because if I just say I want to spam 40 rats, I'm on 41 life. She then deals 40 damage to each opponent, and I gain 40 life. So it works pretty well. I'm happy with how it works. It's also pretty funny because I have a whole board of rats, and then my opponents may or may not also have a whole board of rats. But I have a little cheeky enchantment that kind of changes that. So the next is Torment of Hellfire, really good card. Repeat this process X times. Each opponent loses 3 life unless that player sacrifices a non-land permanent or discards a card. Now, this card is disgusting when you pair it off with the Lotus, because I've done it before. I had my X, the mana I paid for the X was 13. So they had to repeat this process 13 times. It was disgusting, but it was also kind of funny because I was never able to, that's the first time doing that. So, and then board wipes, we have Damnation, kind of straightforward. Crippling Fear, you choose a creature type, creatures that aren't of that type get -3/-3. Kindred Dominant, choose a creature type, destroy creatures that aren't of the chosen type. So that's it for the instants and sorceries, and now we get on to the enchantments. 1. Phyrexian Arena. So, at the beginning of your upkeep, you draw a card and loses 1 life. Tainted Remedy. So, if an opponent would gain life, they lose that much life instead. The old Black Market. So, whenever a creature dies, put a charge counter on Black Market. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, add 1 black for each charge counter on Black Market. So this effectively will help me with my ninjutsus, or it will help me to play instances. It's a really good card, and it got reprinted in Battle for Baldur's Gate like Commander. And then I would 1 Saga in here, which is why I was on about Plague of Vermin earlier. So this card is really funny because its first and second turn, my opponents create a 1/1 Black Rat Rogue token. So you're thinking, well, if this is already bought, most of the time, Plague of Vermin, my opponents aren't going to gain any creatures. But when this goes to the 3rd turn, exile this card and then return it to the battlefield, transform under your control. So we'll just flip it. So it has flying, haste, and when it enters the battlefield, gain control of all rat tokens. So I'll gain control of all my rat tokens again. And then when it attacks, I may sacrifice another creature, and if I do, I get to draw a card. So yeah, pretty good. And it's the only actually the only creature here that has flying. I kind of lose to flying quite a lot, unfortunately, because I have no way to really deal with flying at the moment. And now we come to the land part of the video. So, Path of Ancestry, so add a mana to your mana pool only to cast like creatures of my type. Commander's Color Identity. And then when the mana is spent to cast a creature spell that shares a creature type with your commander, you scry 1. So again, since every rat I play using this, I get to scry 1. And then we have Abandoned Mire. So it comes in untapped, you tap it for black. It has Channel. So 3 colorless, 1 black, discard this card, mill 3 cards from mill 3 cards, then return a creature or Planeswalker card from your graveyard to your hand. This basically costs 1 card less for each legendary creature I control. So you can either add for land, or you can use it to return a guy from your bin back to your hand. We have Cabal Coffers. So, pay 2 colors, tap it, add a black for each swamp you control. Kind of strong, especially if I've already got so much land. Mostly, I want to see this card when I've also got Soul Ring on board, so that 2 mana can be used for the Soul Ring. And then I have Cabal Stronghold, which is similar, it just costs an extra 1, so it costs 3 mana instead of 2. My Crypt of Adim. So it comes to tapped, it just adds a black, but you pay to tap it to add a black to your mana pool for each black creature in your graveyard. So if I've got 3 black creatures in my graveyard, this taps for 3 black. Which is College, so taps 4 black. When it enters the battlefield, tap if I control 3 or more swamps. When it enters the battlefield, untapped, I put a creature card from my graveyard to the top of my library. My Ochre Bog. Enters the battlefield, exile target creature's player's graveyard, and then taps 4 black. My Everglades. Enters the battlefield tapped. When it comes into play, return an untapped swamp you control to its owner's hand. Or bury Everglade. I'm pretty sure that means destroy it. So it taps, add 1 black and 1 color's mana to your mana pool. So this is effectively 2 mana. And a Relinquish Tower. So again, it's just so I don't have to discard. And for the... So how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9. So yeah, we're running 9 lands. And we should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Yeah, we got 25 basic lands. So in the deck, you're running a 34 land deck. So yeah, I'm just running 25 basic swamps. And what makes me really happy about these swamps, they're all the same swamps from... I just love this art of the swamp. If I really had the money, I would get these in foil, but I just don't have that kind of money. But that's been my the Rat Empire deck profile. I honestly don't know if I have a profile for tomorrow. That's the thing, I do have trees, I do have artifacts, but I haven't used my trees in a while, and they're kind of a mess right now. My artifacts, they're still relatively new. I want to play at least more games with it before I profile it. And there are a lot of artifact cards coming in Dominar United, which gets fully released on Friday the 9th. Else gets released Friday the 9th. Splatoon 3. So if you guys want to see some Splatoon 3 action, then pop to the Fort's Twitch on Wednesdays. It will most likely be on the 14th. Twitch.tv/thefortlowersoft, and you'll see me playing Splatoon 3. But yeah, I think we'll call there for the video. So hope you guys have enjoyed the video, and let me know if you guys do want to see my tree deck, and I'll do a profile of that. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.